Welcome to the Game Changer 00100 show. I am your host, Game Changer. All right. So, Chantel Simone is doing this series. I think I covered it. Actually, I know I did covered it on a show a couple of shows back. Before I was like, but now that I see where she's going with it, I see that there's definitely a there. And what it's covering is that there's this, and I talked about this before, but in different ways. There's this huge communication gap between men and women on how to approach. Before, like I mentioned before, there were rules. These rules were just called chivalry, but it was unspoken rules, codes of conduct, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But on both sides, since everybody was going rogue, the rules just went out the window. And I'll give you an example. Like there was a time where, and this was before my time even, but there was a time where a woman wouldn't accept a drink from a man unless she had some type of romantic intentions towards him. If she thought that he was the ugliest dude alive, she wouldn't even accept a drink. Now, some women will allow you to spend your money, even though they have no intentions with you whatsoever. There was also a time, excuse me, got a bit of cold. There was also a time before my time also where women who were in men, well, mainly women, because men like variety, but they wouldn't even go to singles events when they're not single. And really, it doesn't make sense. It's kind of like going to Starbucks, but you don't drink coffee. You're just like, oh no, I'm just here. It's one of those things. But now you have either women and men going there while they're not single, or they're going there and lying and saying that they're not single. But I mean, it's a combination of that. And what things like this has gradually done was muddled and confused the the dating situation. And then there were also unspoken rules like the 3 date rule, even though that has become more and more spoken. But there was the 3 date rule. Now it's whenever I want to and if and when I want to. But typically, a woman wouldn't accept, back then, a woman wouldn't even accept a 3rd date if she wasn't interested in you. So she would consider saving your time and money. That's out the window. Women go, after the 3rd date, sometimes more and sometimes less. But there's no there's no rule, there's no order. Everybody is on some Mad Max stuff. It's just chaos out there. And that's with the regular approaching. So I'm going to work to try to influence society to have some basic rules and guidelines that both sides can abide by, because it does cause confusion. Now, actually, before I get into what I was about to say, I'm going to do the short of the day. Feel free to comment. I'll read your comments after the short of the day. All right.
Money in the bag now!
Seriously?
Yes, seriously.
I have a boyfriend.
Not what I asked. Put the money in the bag.
I get it. You saw me. You were too nervous to talk to me, so you went home to grab a mask so you could talk to me. But regardless, I have a boyfriend.
Do I look nervous to you? I don't care if you have a boyfriend. Put the money in the bag or I'll shoot.
Shoot what? Shoot your shot?
No, I'll shoot the gun that's in my hand.
Oh, that's pathetic.
What are you doing? Put your hands up!
Oh, what? You want me to put my hands up so I can submit to you? I have a boyfriend.
You know what? Don't put your hands up. Just open up the register and...
Hey, girl! Oh my gosh, how was Coachella?
Honestly, so lame this year.
Really?
There's like nobody to see, honestly.
Ew, gross.
That's it right there! Give it to me!
Excuse me, give you what? She has a boyfriend.
Yeah.
Can you just please tell her to give me the money? That's all I'm asking.
Excuse me, I have a boyfriend.
Money in the bag now!
Unfortunately, it is that bad. It is that bad. This is the mentality that guys are dealing with out there. And it is not pretty. It is not fun. the level of arrogance is very high amongst modern Western women. And I don't know if Chantel knows this, or well, she probably don't, because I don't really see her hollering at many women. Um, well, she probably knows and hasn't experienced it firsthand. But the level of arrogance is that bad. It really is, to where they're on some, everybody wants some of this. And yeah, we do. I'm not going to lie. Nobody's going to kick either of these white girls out of their bed. But that doesn't mean that every interaction that we have is going to, has that in mind, so to speak. So I think that men are shooting their shot less because, for one, they don't want to deal with the arrogance, and two, they don't want to perpetuate it, which is a good thing. They don't want to make an already arrogant B word more of an arrogant B word, and rightly so. You see a problem, you look to, that's what men do. You see a problem, you look to solve it. You don't look to, like if you see a fat kid, you don't give it more cake, and if you see a woman who appears as if her ego is out of control, you don't try to, just add more to it. Now, not to say that all attractive women, and this is a lot of misconception that's going around the space, are arrogant. I mean, it's one thing to have a healthy understanding of, that you are a woman and you are attractive. That's one thing. It is another thing to overvalue a person's intentions. It's weird. It's a very difficult balance. Fortunately, I'm not a woman. I don't have to make that balance, but I, as a man, do know the difference between arrogant and aware. Most women who are exceptionally attractive don't. There is a level of humility that goes along with it that, should exist. Anyway, the thumbnail picture. Excuse me. Like I said, I have a cough, so let me mute it so I cough. Hold on a second. Okay, my bad. So there is a level of arrogance that guys are trying to avoid. Now, the thumbnail picture is one from the music video called "You Don't Know My Name" by Alicia Keys. This came out years ago, back when I was just a little niggero. And I remember hearing the song, and it was like, okay, it's a good song because, it's Alicia Keys. I like how she hits her notes and stuff like that. But when I seen the music video, I was like, oh, wow, this is tragic. It's a tragedy. So for those of you who don't know, because you was born this side of the Clinton administration, You Don't Know My Name by Alicia Keys. Basically, it features Most Def in the music video. And she's a waitress. He's a, I don't know, businessman or something like that. And he always goes to her diner and orders the same thing. He orders, I don't know, like a hot chocolate and the special of the day. And she has a crush on him. And she never really just says it. She never came out straightforward and says it. She flirts with her eyes, and everything, but she never really states her crush to him. And he's there and he's reading the paper. He's, she's pretty, she's young and she's a waitress. And he's sitting there not really noticing that he's into her. And the song goes, pay attention or you'll miss a good thing. And then she imagines herself, stealing his phone number from a raffle ticket and trying to get with her. Yeah, young Alicia Keys. Wow, like how can Most Def not see that? How can he see it and not shoot a shot? Like, is beyond me. But well, it's not really, and I'm going to explain that in a moment. But I was thinking, like, wow, this is tragic if Most Def was single. If he's married and stuff like that, then that's a whole different story. But I looked at that as a tragedy, probably because Alicia Keys is and was a very attractive woman. So, like, that is a tragedy And it reminds me, okay, so full disclosure, as everybody who watched me and those of you who are new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm a nerd. And I came up at a time where it was nowhere near as cool as it is now. I think it is still cool amongst young people. I don't know, things is constantly in flux, but it wasn't really cool to be a nerd, but nevertheless, that's what I was. And at the time, characters like Steve Urkel gave it a bad look, and then there was that one black nerd on Revenge of the Nerds who was also Rainbow. So I'm like, listen, I am a nerd. I was born and this is what I am. I actually like being one, but I just looked at it as a natural thing that girls aren't going to be interested in me in junior high. And so I just like, okay, I'm, hey, blessings and curses, right? So I just kind of like went with that. And then there was a couple of occasions where girls would send their friends. This happened more than once. Would send their friend to talk to me and tell me that her friend was interested. Now, I looked at this as a setup for some type of elaborate joke that I would be the butt of. So I avoided it. And I found out later while in junior high that it wasn't a joke and I just missed an opportunity. And then there was also when I went to high school. This happened when I went from high school to college too, but far less frequently. When I went to high school, I actually found out that a lot of, well, not a lot, but more than you would expect, girls were actually interested. And this isn't even the ones that had their friends come to me. This was just like, oh wow, there was this one who I really regret. That would be like the tragedy of the Alicia Keys song, because I was definitely into her. I viewed her as out of my league. Come to find out that she didn't see it the same way. I seen her in high school and I seen her in adulthood, and each and every single time she looked better than she did when I first developed a crush on her in junior high. So, that's tragic. And that's, largely, well, I'm going to say that that's completely my fault in those situations. But, in the situations where the girls would send their friends. That's a miscommunication, but everything else was my fault. Somebody says stop hating on the game. We'll get into that. So that song reminded me of that. But it's also tragic because this could be a connection, but because of poor communication between the two of them, and I'm talking about the Alicia Keys video, it's a connection that never happened. It's a connection that was never made. And that's because we are, as a society, and I think that video came out in the 90s, as a society, men and women are caught between this very tricky place where, we're still stuck in this men shoot their shot first. We're stuck between that, and we're stuck between this whole modern woman thing. And quite frankly, it's not the same. So what I want to hear from y'all while I read the earlier comments is I want to hear how should Mos Def had handled that situation in your opinion. Those of you who are familiar with the music video. And if not, it's a short music video. It's called You Don't Know My Name. Take a time out to look at it. But I want to hear how y'all feel that he should have handled that. And I'll read some comments while y'all do that. So, all right. Actually, y'all don't really have much in the comments. Let's see. It's worse. The real women look worse. I think I completely lost the context of what's going on. Oh, you're talking about from the short of the day where, yeah. Not only that, in real life, women are less justifiably arrogant. I do agree with that. In fact, medium attractive women, and I'll tell a story about that in a moment, a recent story. Medium attractive women seem to be more arrogant than the more attractive women. And I think Chantel touched on that in our most recent video. But we'll get into that. Bad attitude, bad looks, bad arrogant experience. 2 out of 3. Some of them have bad attitudes, not necessarily bad looks, but bad arrogant experience. Oh, you're talking about real women. Yeah. No, you get the trifecta far too often amongst real women. And those are the ones that's easy to not talk to. All right. Young Alicia Keys. Wow. Yeah, exactly. Believe it or not, Alicia Keys was not on my top light skin crush at the time, because my top crush, as far as like, musical women went, was not a light skinned woman. I think that any brother from that time would agree with me. And it was hands down Aaliyah. And I mean hands down Aaliyah. And this was a time with, when the industry was saturated with women who were not only beautiful, but a whole strata classier than what's going on now with these sexy reds and stuff like that. There was Aaliyah. She just came on the scene, just like, her dance moves. She just like, I don't know. It was amazing. Now before her, Chili from TLC was definitely, like a new level of exotic beauty that was unheard of. Let's see. As far as music go, who else would I say? But y'all tell me, while I'm doing this, y'all tell me, on the music video, You Don't Know My Name with Mos Def and Alicia Keys, do you think that Mos Def should have shot his shot at Alicia Keys? Should he have picked up on her cruising signals, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? So, but yeah, there was Aaliyah. The Boy Is Mine video really was funny, because to me, Monica, who was ridiculously more attractive than Brandy, her career didn't take off as much as Brandy's did, and Brandy's didn't really take off that much, but she was ridiculously more attractive than Brandy. Who else was on the list? Oh, Maya. Maya was on the list. She was like a little cutie. I like them slim. Y'all know that. Maybe later Ashanti. Maybe. I wasn't into like Trina. I know a lot of guys. Oh, Eve. Oh, I forgot about her. And by the way, the people I'm mentioning are pre Destiny's Child. So yeah, I'm trying to think of like that era when Alicia Keys was in her heyday. Not to say that she faded away. Let's see. Who else? Who else came close to Aaliyah? I can't even think of somebody that came close to Aaliyah during the Aaliyah time. Or Aaliyah during the Aaliyah time. There was Chili before her. Yeah, I can't even think of anybody. All right, let's see if y'all answered the question. Stop hating the game. I'm trying to understand what you mean by that. Because nothing about this is really hating on quote unquote the game. No, this is just understanding that the game has changed and new rules need to be established. 2001, 2002. Oh wow, that I thought it was longer than that. For that video, she was fine. Yeah, exactly. Like, how do you not notice that? But I'm gonna answer as soon as I get like an answer to the survey. I mean, he's in his own world, doing the business thing. Well, he's also eating food, like, and this isn't like a daily thing, or this isn't like a one-time thing. This is a daily thing. But there was also a music video that came out about 6 years before that. called "She Keeps on Passing Me By." I thought that was tragic too. All right, and then Roxanne, and y'all know how that goes. Let's see. Hey, peace, Dr. Steele. It says the pretty thick red bone in the hood, Alicia Keys. Alicia Keys never gave hood vibes to me. Alicia Keys gave me, so you'd have to be from the Bay Area to get this reference, but she gave me Berkeley vibes. And for those of you who are not in the know, maybe everybody is, because it's kind of like the capital of this in the world. Berkeley is like a hippie, like soulful place, and it bordered the city that I grew up in. And yeah, they did have like a lot of natural long hair in a hippie way. Some of them were dreaded. Um, Light skinned or mulatto women in that area that was always down for a cause. And if you weren't any way affiliated with whatever she had going on, then you was not going to get any play. You was not going to get any play. If they were like, vote no on proposition, 482, and you say, what's 482? You're not getting any play. So she definitely, to me, even at that time, gave off that vibe. But that's not ghetto. Yeah, I guess so. That's Alicia Keys is talented in her own right. I mean, yes, Aaliyah's beauty was unmatched, but I think there would have been room for both. Lauryn Hill's talent was definitely a strong equal to Alicia Keys' talent. So like there was definitely room in the industry for a lot back then. But I will say this: Pac and Biggie's passing really opened the door for a lot of lame dudes. And by lame dudes, I'm talking about the entirety of No Limit. Master P, Silk the Shocker, Mysticals, oh, na. And then his son came out with the raw bass, remix. It was that whole No Limit thing. I don't know where those dudes are from, but it was weird. A lot of people came, possibly even Jay-Z, a lot of people that we know today would not be here if they were in the industry, maybe even Dr. Dre. So there probably would be a couple of less billionaires if Pac were around. Just saying. Let's see. Okay, it says, just watch the music video. What's wrong with how he approached her? He didn't approach her. I'm saying on the video, should he approach her? He didn't approach her. Should he have approached her, or should she have approached him? Because there's a miscommunication between men and women on what to do in that situation and what to do in situations like that. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Hit the like button. Okay, so the video is confusing because what she did when you seen them at the party, she was just imagining, because she was stuck on the guy. She was just imagining what would happen if she approached and he accepted the approach. But at the end of the music video, it shows that, she actually didn't, so she was in fantasy land when you seen them at the party. I'm talking about at the diner. Should she have approached, or should he have approached? You're right. I forgot about the party. That was not a real party. Look at okay. Let me show y'all what I mean. I'm gonna go to the video. Hold on. I'm not gonna get copyrighted, but you don't. All right. Dang, she looked good. I forgot. Alicia Keys, yeah. Somebody say she's a light skinned ghetto. No, I seen light skinned ghetto queens. A light skinned ghetto queen is like Felicia from from the First Friday by Felicia. That's a light-skinned ghetto queen. Maybe even like a Miss Parker, but Alicia Keys was nothing like that. Like, and she couldn't even play a role like that. Somebody hired her to do it. That one. All right, so here's a music video. Okay, so by the way, back in the day, you used to see black couples everywhere. So that's when she spots Most Def. By the way, Most Def, and I know this from talking to family members of mine. I didn't know that he is the crush of a lot of women who's Alicia Keys' age and has been for quite some time. So look at how she's looking at him, and he's more focused on the menu and the newspaper and stuff. You know, he's not really paying attention. You know, then he looks at her just to give his order. Okay, so we're gonna go to the part where things got confusing. Okay, so right here, she noticed that he puts his business card inside of this thing and to where he could win a free lunch. Now, this thing used to be a thing back in the early 2000s and the 90s. And they used to actually, in the malls, they would have cars with this. Don't do it. It is a scam to get your info. I did it once and I got all kind of calls from telemarketers and stuff. But I don't think that the diner would do this, but that's just a thing. So this was a thing back then. And she's like, okay, I'm going to, take his business card and give him a call. But she didn't do that. That's her imagination. So right here, this party and all that, that's her imagining, like what would happen, if everything, if everything played out from that. And hold on. So like all this is an imagination scene. She's like, this is how the call would go. And, and then they would be entwined. Let me see if I can find it. So this is her lusting after Most Def, fantasizing over him, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And hold on. So, yeah. So this is her, and women do this from time to time, having an imaginary relationship with Most Def. And then the fantasy is over and it's the next day and he comes in and it's the same thing. So, I missed this part. So none of that happened. All of this that you see in a small screen, none of that happened. And that's what makes it a tragedy. So, so it's like back to reality. And the reality is, she's just a chick that's getting him a sandwich for money. Not in real life. And then he walks away and that's it. So now my question to y'all is, how should it have played out? Should Most Def have shot his shot because Alicia Keys is fine? Or should, Alicia Keys have shot her shot because, she stared a dude down every day, to see what he's about. So y'all do that. And since we're in the music video watching mood, and I know that this isn't from the early 2000s, I'm going to share another instance where a woman gave the proper choosing signals on a music video. While y'all answer that question, and when I say that, I say answer the question. Y'all not answering the question. Answer the question. I don't know how to do surveys, and quite frankly, I don't care to learn. So just answer the question in text messages, please and thank you. All right, let's see. All This was one of my favorite songs at the time. All right, give me a moment. All right, one moment. All right, here we go. Okay, so Chantel talked about this a bit when she was saying, is walking by enough of a seduction? Now, for those of you youngsters who don't know what the 90s was like, it sucks to be you. And this isn't me just saying, suck to be you. This isn't me saying in a mocking or laughing tone. It really sucks to be you. I mean, though I envy your youth, I would hate to have come of age in this time where the women are big, it's a high percentage of wigs. You don't really see women like this ever. And not only that, they are receptive. They were receptive, I should say. I can't imagine what y'all go through. I truly can't, and I'm glad I don't have to. But this is, of course, a glamorization. But the 90s was feasible in the 90s. Let's put it like that. So, you have the three girls here, and they see this, they see this dude here, and they're interested. So what she does and how she shoots her shot is displayed right here. This is a walk by. Oh, by the way, to all you young niggeros, this is a phone. It's connected to this is a headset. It's connected to a phone. These things we used to use to call people when we weren't at home. You actually had to put money in it. It went from 10 cents to 25 cents to 35 cents. I believe they went out of business when they were 85 cents. This is a phone. A phone. You do not keep it in your pocket. You cannot take it with you. When you are done, you put it on the hook, and then you let the next person use the phone. This is a phone. All right. So he was on the phone, and she walks by and she gives a toothy grin. She gives a toothy grin. And he looks at her and she looks at him, and hold on, they switch back. And she walks somewhere and she knows she's going to follow. I mean, look at that body. Look at those lips. Okay, right here. Other dude is looking, staring like, ooh, dang, And she just keep going into the man's bathroom. You see the man taking a piss. And he, of course, follows her into the stall. And she grabs him while the guy is there still taking a piss. And he looks shocked. And she yanks him into the bathroom stall. Now that's a choosing thing, though. So I'm going to read y'all comments, but do y'all think that Alicia Keys should have just been like that? Y'all let me know. All right. Alicia Keys, So a lot of thin girls, and I think you're talking about Alicia Keys or Maya, are surprisingly thick. Okay, understand this. I don't know the age that I'm talking to, but thick had a completely different definition. And I still go by the old definition, possibly because I'm old. But the definition of thick was, and should be a woman who is big in endowments in the correct places. Meaning that, just because a woman has D cups, if she has like a F cup body, then, she's not. I wouldn't call that thick. So, no, a woman who is endowed in the right places is what would be considered thick. Um, Alicia Keys and Maya, surprisingly, a lot of people don't know this. I've seen her in person. Maya she don't have much up top, but she does have much down bottom. So, she would, at least in that regard, she would be considered thick. Alicia Keys is surprisingly chesty, but she hides it very well because, that's not what she wants to be known for. So, yeah, I would give them a slim. Okay, what we call slim thick today is what was called thick back in the day. The dude wore fitted and played the guitar. Yeah, so that's probably what his appeal was. I never seen Alicia Keys the same after another woman's husband. After going after another woman's husband, do you look at Jada Pinkett the same? I think that's just what. I think that's just the way the entertainment industry works. One of the greatest tragedies in music, L Boogie, only has one album. Good point. I wouldn't say that's the greatest. What about Sporty Thieves? No Pigeons? That was classic, but that was pretty much it. No, okay, I didn't accuse them of being from Mississippi. I said I didn't know where they were from. Okay, so they're from New Orleans. Okay. Well, no offense to anybody from New Orleans, but if Pac were alive, no one would know their name. Most women feel that guys should approach and frankly are scared to approach men. And yeah, we're definitely going to talk about that because that reminds me of a conversation I recently had with Bernard. Talk to me. I don't remember that video. Let's see. Alicia Keys don't look like she lived in the hood or lives in the hood ever in her life. And I don't think she did because her parents could afford piano lessons. Okay, fair enough. And don't get me wrong, there were a lot of beautiful women in the hood that wasn't on some Felicia stuff, but I'm just saying she didn't have that vibe. To me, she always had a Berkeley vibe, probably because I grew up next to Berkeley. Yeah, she stalked that guy in the Maya video. All right, answer the question, fellas. Answer the question. You lost me. Oh, you're talking about the guy in the store? Yeah, yeah, that was funny. Okay. Never seen a woman that friendly in real life. If you're talking about from the Alicia Keys, okay. First of all, I know I up-talk the '90s and stuff, but I will say this: what happened in that Lauryn Hill video did not happen to me ever. Nor did it happen to anybody I know of. I have had sex in the movie theater bathroom before. I have done that. But it wasn't with somebody I just met and she just looked at me and just took me in the man's bathroom. That didn't happen. This was somebody that I know and I built up a rapport prior to that. And then it's like, okay, we're comfortable. That didn't happen. I don't know if that happens to guys with who are more handsome with more game than me, but that most certainly didn't happen to me. I didn't know women were attracted to most deaf. Yeah, I don't see it, and this isn't me judging men. Women want what they want, but yeah, they are. And another surprising person, and this is just coming having female friends and family members. Another person that surprised me was, I think her name is Lakeith Stanfield. So, hey, live and learn. So maybe like a lot of, dudes who are going for the whole muscle look, maybe they're working against themselves. Okay, and look where manifesting got her. $5 no man. Oh, well, answer the question. Conflicts of interest. If she's there, we go. Thank you, New Moon. It says conflict of interest if she shoots her shot since she works there. True. However, he eats there, so it would be a conflict of interest either way. Like, he eats there, so if he shoots a shot, what, do he not eat there anymore? I mean, he likes the special, he likes the milkshake, just maybe not her milkshake that much. Sometimes men do not notice women looking at them. That is true. That's why I told y'all that story, or the general story of my experience in junior high. She should have said something. Yeah. I see why. I mean, why you'd say that. I'll give my answer after this. Well, and I'm glad that you said this. In the video, since he wasn't interested in her, why would he approach? Okay, so I look at the video and it looks like they're in a major city, which is where Black people tend to congregate. And men generally are at least sexually interested in the majority of women that we see, especially back then. And especially if they look like her. On some level, he's going to be interested. So just because he's not showing interest doesn't mean he's not interested. He's just not certain if the opportunity is available to him. So he's not sure if it's worth exploring. So, because think about it. If he was to shoot his shot at her, then by that logic, he would have to shoot his shot at every woman who looks like her. And men, if you live in a major city and, which is fine if you live in, a small town or something like that, and you only see a woman who looks like Alicia Keys once in a blue moon. You're not shooting your shot every day. But, you pass 1,000 people if you live and work in a downtown area of a major city. What do you shoot at them all? I mean, so I think that, I don't know. I think that guys in situations like that become jaded, and she has to set herself aside from all the other equally attractive women who likely are not interested. So that's my take on it. Dr. Steele, great one. Great. Okay, you're talking to somebody else. All right. So he wasn't even checking for her. So why would he shoot at her? Okay. So I think that was answered in the last thing. It was obvious on her to approach since she was the one showing interest in him. Yeah. Okay. I'll discuss that. Let me just read some more. It says, there's a few I know are looking and it's obvious, but I'm not messing with them. Dig a little deeper into that. I love the 90s. Yeah. I mean, that's an understatement. Walking by is enough seduction in music videos. In real life, that's laughable. To think that's enough. No, don't minimalize it. She didn't just walk by. She walked by and gave long contact to the grin. That wasn't just, like, "Ooh, I'm walking by in yoga pants and you should holler." That was, she walked by, she did a whole negative 90-degree twist of her head and, stared for quite some time until he hung up the phone and then followed her into the men's bathroom, knowing he didn't have to pee. That is, don't minimalize that. That was the ultimate choosing signal. That was a solar flare of a choosing signal. All right, let's see. I don't see a damn thing. I'll go to Kroger. Okay, all right. New trend, grab their weave off. Okay. I had that poster on the wall. Who, Alicia Keys or the Lauryn Hill one that we seen in the background there? The longer the weave, the more the attitude. Well, y'all seen the 90s, so that is a payphone. Yep. Times changed. What is a silver cable for? Yeah, exactly. That's the Wi-Fi antenna. I never seen a woman act this friendly. Never ever. The Alicia Keys video, yes. The Lauryn Hill video, no. I've already stated that. At least not to me, but I don't even know, like, not even to any of my more handsome friends. Easy to get. I don't think he's complaining. That was a bold move on her part. Really, was it? I mean, what is the chance? And that's another thing we should talk about. What is the probability of rejection? The probability of rejection is far greater on him than her. Yeah, who was going to reject that? That is just ridiculous, like, so the thought of that somebody would reject that was so unheard of that, that she didn't even entertain that notion. And that's confidence. That's really not, it's not taking like a risk. She's just confident that it's not going to be rejected. Yep. Thick is overweight now. Yeah, they moved the definition. Yeah, the new definition is way off. I agree. I'll never forget the first time a white dude called me bro. I'll never forget it. And it wasn't a bad thing, and he didn't mean it in a bad way, and it's never taken in a bad way. But I was just like, did this N-word just call me bro? It was at a bookstore. And I asked him something, and he was like, "Yeah, no problem, bro." I was like, "Yeah, man." I mean, by this time they called each other that for a long period of time. I didn't like that. I was really on some, like, that's cultural appropriation. You stole my shit. I was really on that. But yeah, this falls in that category. All right. Was Yo-Yo thick? I didn't know who Yo-Yo was for a while, so I'm gonna look her up. Cause I remember she came out with the video, You Can't Play with My Yo-Yo with Snoop, but I thought that Yo-Yo, at some point I got things confused, and I thought that Yo-Yo was Baby D on next Friday. So hold on. All right, let me take it off the screen so I can actually I'll put it on the main screen so y'all can see it with me. But I'm gonna say something that a lot of you younger guys aren't gonna understand, especially if you are from the South or something. But it's gonna sound weird, especially in 2025. But from what I've seen, I haven't seen the video yet. I just seen the album cover. Believe it or not, Yo-Yo was fat. And I know that's very difficult to understand now. It's very, very, very difficult to understand. Once again, especially if you're from the South. And that's why I thought that this was Baby D. But no, she was actually not considered thick, not considered attractive, and she wasn't trying to be. Like, you could tell Alicia Keys was highlighting her beauty. And Aaliyah was definitely, like, obvious. But not only that, back then, definitely not by today's standard, she was considered fat. And that's hard to even fathom now because the bar is so much different. But yeah, so yeah, in California, which is where she started her career, she was considered fat. Although men's stalls are cleaner, I wouldn't go that far. Okay, listen. It's called doing the nasty for a reason. There's a lot of nasty places I did the nasty. I'm going to tell y'all the nastiest place I did the nasty. So I was maybe like 17, 18. I was of an age where, what time is it? Where corn was hard to get. I could get it from my father, or and my father didn't hand it to me. I actually had to sneak into his collection. Or I got it from a pawn shop. Just to tell you how nasty the times was, I actually got it from pawn shops, and when I was done watching it, I would pawn it again and then get another. So it was some nasty times, and I think that the owner of the shop just ignored my age when doing that. So to give you an idea of the times, now there was a place in Oakland, in downtown Oakland, that a woman took me to. I was living with my parents, and so was she. So we couldn't find a place to get down. She suggested a peep show place. So we go inside, and fellas, the floor was sticky. It was sticky. And y'all know why. It was sticky. So I go inside, and it's one chair. Now, when I say chair, I'm not talking about like a office chair that's leather or something like that. I'm talking about like a chair that if you were a kid in an auditorium, it would be that type of chair. It was like one of those folding chairs that they put in assembly auditoriums. And so you go in and you give the person $3, and they have like all kinds of toys at the front booth. You give them $3, and they give you $3 worth of tokens. And you go in and you put the tokens in the TV, and it plays whatever you want to see. So, remember, this was not the days where you could just go on Cornhub and see whatever you wanted. This is the extent. So you put a token in, you get like 3 minutes, and it was like 100 channels, and you turn to the one that you like. It took us a while to find one that we liked, because Black girls, and we'll talk about that for a bit. Black girls, especially back then, they were head averse. It was difficult to pry their mouth open. I kid you not. It was difficult to pry their mouth open. Now, I blame you brothers for just, every time they do, telling everybody and making her feel like the town slut. But yeah, I wanted her to do that. She wasn't down for that. I was subtly suggested by turning to a channel where that was going on. She would turn to another channel, and that was that. But what made this the nastiest thing was because I sat in that nasty chair. I didn't put her in a chair. I sat in that nasty, nasty chair while she rode on top of me, and we did the do. That was nasty. So you talk about I wouldn't go into the stall, which one is cleaner. Listen, it's called the nasty for a reason. It is called the nasty for a reason. It's nasty. It is nasty. I feel nasty because I'm too tired to change the sheets at my own home. I'm too tired to change the sheets at my own home afterwards. And I do fall asleep when I'm completely burnt out in the nasty slime of what just happened. It is called the nasty for a reason. Anybody who's trying to do the nasty in a clean way, I'm sorry, no disrespect, but I'm not even gonna say what I was gonna say. No disrespect, but I wouldn't try to find a clean nasty. That was the nastiest thing I ever done. And I'm not talking about like, that was the most unsanitary. I did some nasty stuff. That was the most unsanitary thing that I ever done. Just knowing what that chair been through. Hey, what's going on, Bon? AK had the radio back in the day. Not much up top. No, she actually surprisingly, I respectfully disagree. So Alicia Keys, who I never seen in person, so there was a scene in the movie, not Swordfish, what's it called? Smoking Aces. And it was her and Taraji P. And Taraji P played a woman who had a crush on her. And she was a sniper, and she was like eyeing Alicia Keys through the scope, and she was like all down her rib cage and stuff. And I was like, okay, Alicia Keys is packing, she's packing those C's, and that's my favorite. That's my favorite. I'm saying she don't flaunt it, but she's nice up there. Like you can't see it from that music video. I don't think I ever seen it. I still remember Usher and Alicia Keys dancing at the Super Bowl. I don't watch sports. Never help, never approach. Never say never. I never approach men. Once again, never say never. I don't chase men because I'm the prize. Okay. I mean, that's a man's choice situation, though. So, but call it what you want. New moon. There's an instance today where men are afraid to approach women. Absolutely, and we're definitely going to talk about that if my voice holds. Yeah, that's a typical black woman mentality. Wonder why white women get the top dudes. You talking about the head thing? Yeah, these days thick means fat who can't fit in a size 20 dress. Yeah. You don't pay for the prize, you pay for the punishment or something you purchased. Okay. Why top guys white women have? I don't understand that. Approaching a dude isn't chasing, is showing interest. Yeah. I mean, it depends on what you consider a prize. Like, a woman who's single boasting that she never hollered at a guy, or a woman who took the first step and she got the guy that she wanted. Ugly bitches chase men. Now, we're definitely going to talk about that because you do bring up an interesting point. And yes, they do. Let me start there. Outside of what I was telling you about in, junior high and high school, in adulthood, the overwhelming majority of the women who took the first step was well, they did not look like Alicia Keys. Let's start there. They were far less pretty than I was handsome. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that. And by a wide margin. The ones that approached, for the most part, were ones that I was not interested in, like not even close. And I'm talking about, like I say, good enough. There's levels. There's good enough to wed. There's good enough for bed, and there's good enough for head. These women were, for the most part, I'd say, and by most, I mean like over 50%, were not good enough for none of the three. Like, which says something. It means that I would rather keep my penis in my pants dry than in your mouth. So, and that is the large majority. So, I give you an example, right? There's a BART station that I used to have to get off of to go to work in a city called Livermore, and this was the Dublin Pleasanton BART station. And I'm saying this for those of you who are local. And I would get off, and every now and again, there's a woman's prison there. There's a men's prison there. It's called Santa Rita. There's a county jail, whatever you want to call it, there. And when they're released, they go to that BART station and get back to where they came. And BART is a transit system, by the way, like the subway system in New York, or the L train in Chicago. And every now and again, they would just get out and they would shoot their shot. And fellas, it is not like the pornos. Women who do time, I don't know if it's because they're locked up, and they really don't have anybody to impress, anybody to do their makeup and hair, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. For I can't see why she would come out in a prom dress or some crap like that, but they are not hot. They are not hot, and they shot hard. They aggressive with it. They aggressive. And they make it clear their intentions. So you're right about that. Now, that doesn't mean that, but times are changing, and perhaps they should, for reasons that I'm going to discuss. Yeah, been around the world, and yeah. Women got to get work if they want to be the prize, and pay men. Hmm. Interesting dynamic. Okay, I'm gonna have to go through these faster. So if I skip yours, don't take it personal. Women don't go chasing men. It's masculine. I'm gonna talk about that. Hold on. My bad. I grew up in a big city, so I'm kind of used to it, but it does have its drawbacks. I definitely concur. Went to a coworker's girlfriend's apartment with him, and she had a female roommate that grabbed my hand and said, "We fucking," and she led me to her room. Who was I to argue? Okay, okay. Was she prettier than you are handsome? Let me clarify that when I say that stuff like that don't happen. Stuff like that do happen, but it happens with women. It has happened to me, but it happens with women who are significantly less pretty than I am handsome, um, or they're outliers in other ways. They're off limits in other ways. And here's what I mean by off limits in other ways. Um, they're married, and I don't play those type of games, or they are out of my age range. Not so much now, but I did have an age range that I messed with. Now, when I was, before I was 18, it was always 2 years up or down. So if I was 18, well, not 18 itself, but if I was 17, my age range would be 19 to, or excuse me, my age range would be 15 to 19. So it's 2 years up or down. And yeah, so opportunities like that would be something that would happen like if I was 19 and she was like 28 or something like that. Or if I was 28 and she was, 18 and possibly lying. So it would happen like that. Or the ones that I was just simply unattracted to. And then there was a category of women that I would smash, but I wouldn't want my homies to smash. But these women were so entwined with my homies that I couldn't smash. Like I couldn't keep it a secret. Because there are some slump busters. It's been a while and you want to just break the rut and you want to make sure that you're still practice for when somebody you really want. But so there were those. And had she not known my friends, I would do it, but she did, so I didn't. So there were those situations. Let me see. And those sometimes are very forward. And then there were the ones who I would smash, and I would let my friends know about it. I'd even bring them home to mama because they was pretty, and they were interested. But because I was young and stupid, there were instances where I didn't do it just for the possibility that I would get with her friend who's just like a tad bit hotter. I kid you not. I used to do stupid stuff like that when I was young, and I'm pretty sure many of you can relate. I don't know how to do surveys, and I'm not interested enough to learn. I said I wasn't messing with them because at work, okay, awesome, and then the girls guys are jealous. Exactly. Yeah, I agree. I smash a lot of friendly waitresses. I don't understand the issue. Hmm. Um, so did you shoot your shot? Would you shoot your shot in the situation we're talking about? Hit the like button, people. Just like baby daddy, several of them, 3 kids with 3 different dads. Yeah, that's true. I think that particular thing was possibly worse in the '90s because they got more welfare benefits back then. Yeah, I knew it. So she was. I knew that was her. So Martin used to do a character called Shanae, and Shanae was really Martin in a dress, and she was everything. Excuse me, Martin's character Shanae was everything that we talk about in the manosphere. So it's a and she was a jest. She was meant to be made fun of. So it's funny that women took to that persona, even though men was laughing at it. Like they weren't trying to be Gina or Pam. They were trying to be Shanae. Modern women are more like Shanae than they are Gina and Pam, who was a joke, who was a man in drag. And then Shanae introduced her friend Kilolo, who was a natural born woman, played by Yo-Yo, and that was a thing. And they were ghetto, fake haired it, overweight, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So is the census 6 per 1,000 getting married now? Oh, I don't know. Um, I would believe that if it was like by a certain age. I don't believe in marriage. Okay. Down to 10% fertility, sexual marketplace value, maybe 5 years left. Yeah. The wall doesn't exist. The wall always went. Okay, I'm not even gonna. That was nasty, nasty. Yeah, I told you that was the nastiest thing I ever done. I'm gonna hold on for a second. I'm gonna go get some cough syrup. I'm sorry. I got this bad. Actually, I'll play the short of the day while I go get it. All right, give me a second. Ah, crap. Where's the short of the day? All right, history.
Money in the bag now.
Seriously?
Yes, seriously.
I have a boyfriend.
Not what I asked. Put the money in the bag.
I get it. You saw me. you were too nervous to talk to me, so you went home to grab a mask so you could talk to me. But regardless, I have a boyfriend.
Do I look nervous to you? I don't care if you have a boyfriend. Put the money in the bag or I'll shoot.
Shoot what? Shoot your shot?
No, I'll shoot the gun that's in my hand.
Ugh, that's pathetic.
What are you doing? Put your hands up!
Oh, what? You want me to put my hands up so I can submit to you? I have a boyfriend.
You know what? Don't put your hands up. Just open up the register.
Hey, girl! Oh my gosh, how was Coachella?
Honestly, so lame this year.
Really?
There's like nobody to see, honestly.
Ew, gross.
That's it right there. Give it to me.
Excuse me, give you what? She has a boyfriend.
Yeah.
Can you just please tell her to give me the money? That's all I'm asking.
Excuse me, I have a boyfriend.
Money in the bag now.
Seriously?
Yes, seriously.
I have a boyfriend.
All right, I'm back. Yeah, I needed that. So I'm gonna segue for a second. Recently is the first time I actually bought Dayquil, and I'm sticking with it. This is good. This is good. I didn't know it would be this good. For those of you who don't know, I'm a man with a decent income, but I wasn't always this way, and I'm a very frugal man. So for years, in fact, until recently, so all of my adulthood, I bought generic cough syrup. And this time I bought Dayquil. I spent like the extra $5. It's steep. I'm not gonna lie, it's steep. And got Dayquil as opposed to like Walgreens Select orange cough syrup. And yeah, it's a difference. Some things you just can't go generic on. I've come to learn, and I'll share what with you. You can't do generic cereal. You can't do generic pudding. I always get Jell-O. And now, can't do generic corn syrup. Or, excuse me, cough syrup. You just can't. All right, so back to business. And notice I'm not coughing. Oh, here you go with that again. All right, I'll move past that. All right, let's see. C cup is decent. C cup is my favorite. Now, there's a drop versus a droop when it comes to titties. A drop is where it's still somewhat perky, but you know that when they get older, unless they wear a bra all the time, it's going to droop. The drop is what I like because in the doggy style position, they move the most. And that's when they're C cups. So I do like those. However, I do like the B's perky, or excuse me, I like the B's perky and the A's pointy. But if you're an A and you're a pointy A, which I don't mind, even though it's not my first choice is the C. But if you're a pointy A, and you have like one of those real pretty faces, and you know, and a biteable, then I'm all in. Yeah, I'm not a lotto player. By the way, the physique that I was talking about, or the person I was talking about when I just said that with the A's, is Maya. I don't know if they're perky or not. They seem to be, but Maya fits that description. A's never sag. I never considered desperate or thirsty when black women throw themselves at white men, but them approaching black men is interesting observation. Okay. I had a kid at 38. Oh, well. Um, who want billions? None. Nah, California is a big state. I do see that they have like every now and again it goes up to a billion. Now, I don't think that after everything they wind up with a billion, but every now and again, like the mega, I think it is, goes to a billion. I don't play it nonetheless, but I do see that that's what the jackpot is. But if I had to look now, in fact, I'll look it up now. Um, what is the Mega Millions jackpot in California? It starts at 20 million. Who? Okay, so they just had a 1.2 billion recently. Did anyone win the Mega Millions last night? This is in 2024. So yeah, in December they had like 1.2 billion. But who won it? So I want to know what it is right now. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Home of the lottery. So right now, Mega Millions is at 129 million. And whatever this L is, L Powerball is 172 million, and Super Lotto is 25 million. All right, let's see y'all talking to each other. Why y'all talking about Austin? It's funny because I'm in Skylar's Patreon. Now, what goes on there stays there, but I'll just leave it at that. Oh, that was a cough. Okay, maybe it's not as good as I thought. All right. Oh, by the way, I'm doing movie night after this because I didn't get to do it last week because I had to go. But somebody said, "Come on, GC, I'm not even that cheap." See, I talk to Bernard from time to time, and people will be surprised at how cheap I am. People will be surprised at how cheap I am. I am a frugal man. And yeah, if I could save some money on cough syrup, I'll do that. I definitely will. Now, I am starting to upgrade stuff though. Um, when it comes to stuff that I eat, I'm not cut. I cut corners on clothes like I'm like nobody's business because I really don't care. But when it comes to what I eat, I do spend the extra bucks, and I know food is at like a high right now, but yeah, I'll get the brown versus the white rice. I'm just starting to notice the difference. I've been penny pinching for so long, but D cups look good in a bra, and I don't really complain about D cups, but my preference is C. I'm getting my boobs done when I'm 35 or when I have kids. Well, they might be better if you have kids. Like some women, titties swell up and stay that way after the kids. Okay, here you all go. Fake is a spectrum, and most can't recognize it. Who's fake? And does it matter? We don't do that. I think you're new here. We don't make fun of people on the spectrum. Like they don't. A person like that don't really. They were born and that's how they are. Wish I could share my research with you. All right, send me an email. I need to win a lotto. I'm tired of working. Yeah, we all are, but it's better to be a working man with $1 in your pocket than a working man with a lottery ticket in your pocket, in my opinion, unless it's the winning one. Only three and about 600 as said it not right. What are you talking about, the lottery? Personally, I don't hate black men. Who else gonna simp and pay for stuff for me? Dang, you just admitted that no other race of men would do that for you. If you hang toilet paper out to dry, you going too far. Nah, I don't go that far. And yeah, I do use name brand toilet paper, so it's not that bad. Um, but I do because I don't have a family, so every now and again, and when I say every now and again, I'm talking about like once a year. Once a year on my friend's Costco account, I go and I stock up on Charmin's. I don't know why they have hard toilet paper, like Charmin's extra rough and extra hard. Personally, I think that that's some gay stuff. I don't know what the point of having hard toilet paper is. Maybe somebody can explain it to me in the chat. I thought that that was weird. I was like, why is it hard? Like, if you want hard toilet paper, you just like take a paper bag or a newspaper and just have at it. But yeah. I used to feel him. I used to feel Scrooge McDuck. I used to understand the father from Everybody Hates Chris. Oh, when you say spectrum, I thought you were talking about something else. I don't know how modifications work. I really don't. I didn't know that there was a term for it. So my bad. It's all about one ply paper. It doesn't. Okay. So some dudes are cheaper than me. I stick with the Charmin's, the 2 ply, but I get it from Costco. Like a whole year supply of it. All right. So I'm gonna go to Chantel's to show what sparked this conversation, so we can get back on topic. And then I remember taking a mental note of the timestamp, so I could just go. I just go straight to it. No, I know you're kidding. All right, give me a second, y'all. Wait, she got 2 videos? Ah, okay. She's putting like a lot of content out, so I don't know which one is. Okay, it's this one called Choosing Signals. Okay. I'm gonna say cheap men are annoying, to be honest. Okay, let's talk about that because Valentine's Day is coming. I am talking to my fair share. And Valentine's Day is tomorrow. You can really tell where a woman's mind is when Valentine's Day comes. And it is a turnoff to me when a woman is really hinting towards perishable crap. It means that it means that this is, and even if it's like something small, like, I'm not gonna say it was small, but it's like, really, you would spend that on this, you would have me spend that on this, that, you can't think of better use for that. So, shout out to Zona Thailand when he was talking about what qualities you should look for in a Thai wife. And one of them is when she's concerned about wasteful spending. When she's concerned about wasteful spending, that is a good quality. So, yeah. All right. It was at the 48-minute mark on the Chantel theme. I'm going to go back to like 46.
Like she don't smile at men, she won't smile at black men. And she was saying that it's not because she smile at a guy doesn't mean that she's interested in him. And usually when she smiles and she's polite, a lot of men will take that as she's interested, so she just don't smile. So then maybe no, and again, this is why I'm gonna do the experiment, because what if men are still saying, nah, sis, you smiling, that don't mean nothing. You have to come over and actually shoot your shot. Interesting. All right, big up yourself, John Smith, for that perspective. All right, here's another comment. Hold on, y'all. Let me pull this up as a big screen because y'all know my eyes cannot read that.
You should wear glasses.
Okay, so he said, I'm 30.
By the way, I think I said this before. I like Chantel when she wears the dark rim glasses.
38. In my life, the most successful relationships I've had with women have always been the ones where the woman approached me first.
And that's why I came to this part, because you will have a successful relationship with the women that approach you first, but chances are you're going to be more handsome than she is pretty. Chances are that's going to be the case, and it's going to be successful because she's going to be working harder to make sure that it works, because she's getting a better deal from the situation.
When a woman truly desires you, there's nothing she won't do to get your...
A woman's money matters. How does a woman's money matter to a man? And you got to understand this. And we're talking about even in a 50-50 dynamic. The more money a man has, the less money a woman's money matters. For example, let's just say you make 50K and he make 50K, and together you share assets, and your contribution to the household is 50% and his contribution to the household is 50%. But if you make 50K and a man makes 100K, then your contribution to the household is now 33%. And if you make 50K and he makes 200K, then your contribution to the household is now 20%. So it's like the more he makes, the less valuable your contribution is. Your statement would be true if women were attracted to broke men, but it's not. It reflects socioeconomic status. It really doesn't. Her spending habits and her aspirations. It really doesn't. I mean, okay, most places in the world don't allow people to withdraw as much debt as America does. So that being the case, there's a lot of people, and women do this a lot, that appear wealthier than they are by a long shot. So I don't even assume wealth when I see women with luxurious things. First of all, as it pertains to clothes, I don't even know. Let's start there. As it pertains to clothes, I don't even know. I don't know if she's wearing a Chanel or a Chantel. I don't know if she's wearing, a Louis Vuitton or a Louis Vuitton. I do not know, and I really don't care. So now if she has an expensive car, yes, it could be that she's wealthy, or it could be that she took a window of good credit and used it to buy a car that she's indebted to. So yeah.
Your attention. Since I learned that fact, I stopped approaching women entirely because I know the ones interested will say something. Think about women. Women always go after what they want: school, job, fashion. Why would it be different with men?
Oh, that's interesting. Chantel is probably the best looking woman in this space. I've been saying that since 2019. Okay, somebody has a type.
The girls in the video even said it. The girl in the video even said it. Pardon me. The girl that was talking to the most guys was the one approaching them. When we have realized we are the prize, standing next to men is not shooting your shot. We see women within our proximity every single day. The only clear choosing is direct eye contact for more than 3 seconds. A smile that little look and look away thing y'all do isn't shooting your shot. So he said that little look and look away thing is not shooting your shot. Okay, sir.
We don't do that here.
A few things I wanted to touch on with this comment. Where is it? I mean, he made a great point when he said
Okay. I think the debate that you guys are having is really more between Sweet Melody Media and Chantel Simone. Because Jessica X is we never seen her cammed up. Not saying that she don't look like her picture, but still it's an unfair comparison when you compare somebody who's cammed up and you could probably like pause it and get a bad frame versus somebody who can put their best picture forward, and that would be the representation of them. So so I guess it's a fair debate between those two. But I am glad that that you all, like me, aren't really, putting married women on the stack. I do appreciate that because Danica is an extremely attractive woman, and so is Bella Rings. So I'm glad that they're not in the running because they's married now. They's married now.
When a woman truly desires you, there's nothing she won't do to get your attention. The only question I would have, I wouldn't even say pushback because it's not a pushback. I mean, there's no way I can push back on what men are saying, especially with this topic. But the only question I would have for this comment is, if I am out, or say a woman is out and she in her head thinks that she's giving choosing signal and she see a guy there. Remember, we don't know if this man is in a relationship or not,
Okay, Chantel.
So
Hold on.
to say if she truly desires you,
Okay. We don't know if a woman is in a relationship either. And this is something Bernard brought to my attention. And when he did, I had to like reevaluate my life and my life experiences as it pertained to what he said to realize how right he was about it. And that is that once you reject a woman, it's over. It's over. She's even if it's not a complete and total approach, meaning like, well, she looked at you and then she looked away, or she said hi to you and you said hi back, but you didn't shoot your shot. They look at that as a rejection, even though they didn't like go balls out and try to get at you. They look at them giving you subtle choosing signals, like, sitting next to you at church and you not responding, as a rejection. And and he didn't come up with this part, but he was very poignant in that, because I'm like, something? I did receive choosing signals that just stopped. I remember one time there was a girl who not only gave me choosing signals, um, but her sister just flat out told me that she was interested. And by this age, I believed her sister, but she was younger. And the girl that was interested was younger. And she was cute, not sexy. And then maybe like a year later, puberty hit, and it was like, oh, wow. It was like, yes, the gods was nice to her. The puberty gods was nice to her. And GC was mighty, mighty interested. Didn't want to have nothing to do with me. Nothing. So, hey, it'd be like that, you know. It'd be like that. So when you curve somebody, when you curve a female, she's not gonna try again. Like, what's that song? At first you don't succeed. Who sang that? She was beautiful too. Was that Aaliyah? Yeah, that was Aaliyah. Dust yourself off and try again. There's no try again. There's no try again. Women, that's for men. That song is to men. Women do not try again. It is over. Once they give you, choosing signals and you don't choose, that is it. That is it. And there's so many rules, and we're going to get into some of them, that could go wrong, that women do have to be a little bit more assertive with their choosing signals. We're going to explain this after I do this bit by Chantel.
She would go after you. In our head, we thinking we're giving the choosing signal, just like our homegirl at the gym thought she was giving this man choosing signal. In our head, we're thinking, oh, if I am shooting my shot, if I'm giving choosing signal and he's not catching it, that must mean that he's in a relationship. And I mean, I'm not going to approach no man if he's giving indication.
Okay, I'm going to pause right for a second to talk about what Chris said. You try again as a man, that is considered creepy today, depending on the circumstances. Yes, women are a lot more likely to play the creepy card than they were back in the day. I don't know why they're like that. But nevertheless, women want reconnaissance time. Okay, so here's the thing. If you have an opportunity to shoot your shot again, it means that you see this particular person on a regular basis. Like the girl I was just described, her sister went to school with us, and she would kick it with her sister every morning before school started. So, um, so I would see her on a regular basis. Now, typically when a guy shoots his shot, it's because he's not going to see her again. This is like you see her in Target and she's buying tampons and that shit's awkward, but she's bad. So you just shoot your shot anyway. That's because it's like, listen, if I don't shoot my shot right now, I'm never going to see her. In those situations, the prospect of seeing her again and talking to her again is not going to come up. However, if this is somebody you work with or go to church with, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, that you see on a regular basis, like the music video with Mos Def, shooting your shot, it has to be a delicate thing. And she knows that. She knows that. In fact, she wants it to be subtle. She don't want, in many cases, many women don't want like an immediate shoot shot. They prefer a series of subtle flirtations, and then over a period of time, it builds into something. Now, if she finds herself in a position where she's flirting and you're not flirting, then that's a rejection. However, you may or may not be redeemable if you come back and flirt the following day. So it's complicated.
Indication that he's in a relationship. But then also too, even in just saying that clearly means that we don't want to get rejected. Because just like how if a man can approach us and we are like,
And that's the thing about women. Their rejection threshold is far, far lower than a man's rejection threshold. Just like they have higher pain tolerance, we have higher rejection tolerance. Possibly because we're used to it, possibly because we have a stronger mating drive, but nevertheless, I mean, and when you think about it, it makes sense. Because from their point of view, they're offering like a free Cadillac. And for you to say no is really damaging, especially if she's reasonably attractive. So, and even if she's average or unattractive, it's still damaging because it's not expected. They look at it as they're offering you the deal of a lifetime. And when you don't partake, yeah, it's damaging to an ego that they have.
like, oh, I have a boyfriend. And he's like, oh, okay. And he just, back off. Because if we're giving choosing signals and
somebody say at least not sexually. So if they're giving choosing signal, it applies a possibility, an enhanced probability of sex. So from their point of view, a man should not turn down an enhanced probability of sex. It's just not in our nature unless it's an extreme circumstance, which means that she's extremely repulsive. Which that's not the case for Alicia Keys and that thing. So like if Mos Def did shoot her down, it would probably be for a reason and a damn good one. But for him to say, "Oh no, you're simply not hot enough," that's not likely to happen. But they do avoid that happening at all costs. Chris says, "I got rejection fatigue." So, okay, that's tricky, and here's why. So bear with me. Here's why that's a tricky situation to be in for both men and women, and this goes into why women probably need to be a little bit more assertive, not just shooting a shot, but really evaluating the circumstances and then acting accordingly. I'm gonna explain that, but I'm gonna talk to Chris for a second because he says I got rejection fatigue. Typically, rejection fatigue is broken by a series of choosing signals. A series of choosing signals that you get from average and above average women. Now, you don't actually have to get their number, but you can just, having pleasant conversations with them does help. It does build your, because you weren't rejected, and you can't be rejected because you didn't shoot your shot. However, you was embraced in pleasant discord with this person for, a small period of time. I'm not talking about your pretty cousin or something like that. I'm talking about a stranger. That helps. But then with that also runs the possibility that she might have been interested in you, and she gave choosing signals in this process. But because of your rejection fatigue, you were still building your confidence, and you now rejected her. Because you wasn't confident enough to shoot your shot. That is a thing, and that does work against the guy. There's other ways around that, and I'm gonna talk to you on movie night. But yes, you're going to be there, and men get to that position in life all the time. You're not alone. I've never been rejected. Okay. Oh yeah, I didn't even pay attention to the still. All right, let me do my little sis a favor. There we go. All right. Yeah, it looks like Thriller. I remember seeing that music video when I was a kid. It was scary. Good point. I guess pumping dump is a rejection. It's not a sexual rejection, but it is a relationship rejection. All right, got dirty minds. Let's play some more.
Exactly. We are approaching the dating market with some crazy logic because, as I said, I swore this girl was shooting her shot. Like, I was like, sis is doing it. What is wrong? What is wrong with this? Like I asked in the video that I reacted to. So she even waved to the man I asked. He was being so dismissive. And look, she even met those little heavy. Oh, the weight is heavy. And he didn't even say nothing. And I know she waited until this man was leaving the gym before she left. I know she finished her workout a long time ago. But then no, remember, as I'm saying, remember, we are here on the dating market.
I'm gonna be honest. Were I in this guy's situation, I would react the same way. There's a lot. There's a lot with that. By the way, I was in Chantel's chat when she was talking about stuff like this, and she was like, "Where's a place to do her experiments?" And that's where she tests to see if guys approach her. And I was joking. I was saying places like police station or the barbershop. Just places where she would have no business being. Because that's always weird when a woman who has no business being in a place is in that place trying to get you to shoot your shot. It's awkward, and there's really no room for icebreakers because, well, anyway. And here's the thing about her in the gym. Her hair is down. I don't know if Chantel does that. I gotta look at some of her gym videos, but I don't think she does. Any woman with her hair down, and I know it's not her hair, but follow me for a second. in the gym where, it could get tangled in a machine and stuff like that, it means that she's not serious. A woman with nails like hers, not serious. You can tell who's serious in the gym and who's just there playing around, you know, um, looking for dick. I don't. It's not that I'm not. I mind that's their hunting ground or something like that. It's just that it's very difficult to break the ice with somebody like that. You know, it really is, and that's all across the board. Like, if a woman is attracted to nerds, but she's not a nerd herself, so she goes to like nerd venues looking for me, and you know, and you just say something like you want to break the ice in a natural way because we're both at a Star Wars convention, and but it's awkward because you're not in the Star Wars. So yeah, yeah, I just find those situations awkward, because like a natural approach would be like, oh, so what got you into Star Wars? You know, who's your favorite character, movie, stuff like that. Like, that's a natural thing, but it don't really pan out that way because they're there for penis. Same with like those bras that go to Afrotech. It's not that the guys aren't interested. It's just like, what do you do with somebody? Like, now that I know that you're just here scouting penis. I mean, I'm wondering if football players are like that, like, yeah, she's pretty, and yeah, she's at the game, and yeah, she's, in the front row, and you notice her and stuff like that. But when you approach her, she say, yeah, you're my favorite player. You made so many free throws. It's like, oh crap. It's kind of like that. That's why I wouldn't approach. And also, women who are looking too hard to be approached sometimes have ulterior motives. Sometimes they just want the attention and the validation, not the person himself. And I hate giving validation to women who are just seeking validation.
Kids with, as L.A. Barrett said, or crazy logic. And we're over here thinking like, okay, and I honestly believe that based on the reaction that you see on TikTok, I honestly believe that women don't know. And this is why I'm having this conversation. For those of y'all who want to listen, y'all will know. I honestly believe that is the lack of knowledge. They don't know. And I truly believe that they in their head think that they are shooting their shot. They in their head think that they're sending shooting signals. Classic miscommunication, of course, game changer. Classic miscommunication. Because in our heads, we're thinking, yeah, okay, we are doing the right thing. All right, I have a few more screenshots, a few more comments on the picture I want to show y'all. But before we do, y'all, we'll see. We have 80 people watching. Have 66 likes.
If not,
I'll go ahead and hit the like
I'm Floyd Mayweather. And I
for a second, only because I'm running out of time. Get a couple other videos on the topic, and then I'll close down. Okay, give me a second. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video. Tomorrow I'm going to do a video on so through Instagram, and y'all can always send your show ideas to Instagram. I got some links from the It's Complicated show. Salute to them. I'm happy to have such a large venue. It's fulfilling to know that such large venues watch my stuff. And they sent me some videos that they did on nerd stuff. So they watch me, they know I'm a nerd, and they know I cover that topic from time to time. So I will cover it some more. and I'm going to give y'all a fresh watch on what they sent me. So.
Hi, and welcome to ericaangelo.com, where you find love, you fall in love, and you stay in love. And I'm Erica Angelo. I help you do that. You can always go to my website, www.ericaangelo.com, for lots of free information about dating, love, relationships. You're just needing advice and you need to figure out what the heck you should do. Well, join the party. So do lots of other people. Go to my website. There's plenty there for me to share with you. I am going to talk a little bit about dating here, and I'm going to talk about women approaching men out on the market. In the world of singleness, us gals getting out there and approaching you guys. Now, most of the time, women, we expect men.
I don't like her. This is my first time seeing her. I don't like her. I think that she's probably on some chameleon stuff, and she's trying too hard to be one of the guys. The way she said gal is something that older, possibly Southern white guys call women. And by older, I mean like in their 40s or something, older than her. Like, hey, take a look at them gals. So it does seem like she's stretching and she's doing a little bit too much to sound like one of the guys. Chameleon vibes automatically. But maybe I'm wrong.
To approach us. Now, I will say this may come across as arrogant, but as an attractive woman, I sometimes find that the guys that I'm interested in will not approach me. Like, they're not going to say anything to me unless I actually go up and directly start talking to them. So I would not always encourage that. And I'll tell you a little bit more. Guys, this is for you. Like, you're thinking right now, woohoo, like finally women approaching us. But it does come with a backlash. Like, you have to do something in response. So follow along, stay with me. So I'll share a story about myself personally. I had gone through a breakup, and so had been out of the single dating game for a while, and felt really awkward and uncomfortable about getting back out there, because in the past I didn't have a problem. Like, if I saw a hot guy and I'm like, okay, here we go again, typical, I see hot guy sees me, but he's not going to approach me, whatever, I will step up to the plate.
Okay, so she developed approach anxiety.
So I saw an attractive guy and I'm like, I've got to just throw myself back into the game. I can't chicken out about this, even though I feel completely uncomfortable. So I did. I had all my girlfriends sitting right there, and here I am. I'm supposed to be the dating relationship guru girl, and I'm sitting here like a chicken, just kind of staring at guys and he's cute and he's cute, but I feel so awkward. I can't go say anything. And I was like, okay, they're here. They're looking at me. There's an expectation here of you are supposed to know how to do this. And so, okay, I'm a little rusty at this, but whatever, I'm going to give it a go. So I see this attractive guy walk by, and what do? First thing, I'm not getting myself in trouble. I grab him by his wrist, and I'm like, you're attractive. Come here. Grab him by the arm. Look at his hand, and I'm like, is there a wedding ring there? And he's like, nope, no wedding ring. I was like, okay, great. You're super attractive. And left it at that. I was like, I mean, if you're going to get in the game, get in the game. Don't waste any time. Just dive right in there. So eventually, I introduced myself and said, hi, my name is Erica. Didn't tell him I did dating or relationship coaching. Kept that a secret. I've introduced myself and, got back in there. Just really started making it happen. Now, so women, don't be afraid to get out there and approach a guy. If you see something that you...
So this is confirming what was said in Chantel's video, where, it's not, you're not shooting your shot unless you are requesting future contact. Unless you're requesting future contact, you're not shooting your shot. point blank period. And and that's because, and believe it or not, you know, I'm not the most handsome man in the world, but I'm decent enough to have received compliments from women who aren't actually interested. Believe it or not, that has happened, and that does happen, and that happens to men enough to where we don't necessarily consider that a shot being shot. As weird as that sounds, and I think women don't know that, because women rarely shoot their shots. They are under the impression that women don't just come up and say, "Hey, you're cute," and not really have any intentions on them. And it actually, I came to that realization. Like, I mean, I got it bits and pieces through my own personal life, but um, the person who really made this clear to me was this God face nigga. So I took an acting class, right, just for fun, with this God face nigga, and he was white dude, Italian, you know um um gym rat type dude, that he yeah, he checked off all the boxes aesthetically, right? And there was this chick that he was into, and the lights were on. So they had these, like, in the class, they had these expensive lights, and they ran real hot, and she was directing the scene that he was acting in, and she needed something to get ready, and the light was just like beaming on him and stuff, for a long period of time. And she just said, like, these lights are hot, and so is he. But she said it in like a very dismissive way and stuff like that. And she was like, oh yeah, he's hot. It was a very, like, nonchalant, like, matter of fact thing. And then I talked to him after the thing. I was like, "Well, shit, you was into that redhead chick, and she definitely said what she think about you." He's like, "Nah, that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing." Like, and he explained it to me, and I wish I could remember the explanation, but the way he said it made so much sense that it really shows how unserious she is about actually getting with him and being with him. You know. So yeah, and this is from a Godface dude. So that doesn't really equate to romantic interest. So what she described um is not shooting your shot. It's not. It's that's just something that happens to guys from time to time.
You want, go after them. However, guys, you have to step up to the plate. This is where you
Somebody said, yeah, it's because it's a skit. No, that wasn't a line in the skit. This was before the skit started. This is before the skit started, when she was preparing the lights and everything.
come in. All right. If I go up as an attractive woman, if I go up to a guy and I am ballsy enough to introduce myself, or should I say, like, ovaries enough? Does that make sense? I don't know.
It doesn't.
If I step up to him, then I expect some reciprocation. Meaning, if I walk up to a guy and I go out of my way to introduce myself to him,
Holy
and
crap.
he doesn't have the courage to, like, keep the conversation going, he doesn't know what to talk about, he's kind of like a weenie about it all, done. I don't care how attractive he is. Like, for me, I need strength. I need to know you're going to be able to hang in there with me. So I will give the guys a chance by going up and talking to them. But guys, I expect, and women out there, they expect you to eventually step up and be the guy. And
Okay, and that's
create
fair enough.
conversation. Keep it.
That's fair enough. She has every right to expect that, considering the setting that they're in. Considering the setting that they're in, she has every right to expect that. She did give the guy a hell of a alley-oop. She's at a singles event and she walks up to a single guy, and like what I described is different, but what she described, it's a fair it's a fair desire. And to be perfectly honest, nobody was in the wrong in the scenario that she described. I mean, I'm going to explain why. I think that he simply wasn't interested. Now, some people would say, like, well, A, is better than nothing. Not necessarily, not in a single setting. Not in a single setting. Listen, and women don't understand this. It is a extremely complicated thing. The whole cold approaching thing, the whole shooting your shot thing. It's not as cut and dry as it is for you, who really just have to stand there or give a slight signal. We as men, we have to take all variables into account. Case in point, she's pretty enough, but what if there is a prettier woman that he was interested in? Hell, what if one of your friends is prettier than you? See, he knows that by giving you any type of play, whether it's, an Instagram handle or, anything, that once your friend sees you pull out your phone and get any of his information, it's done. Any hopes and dreams that he had about your friend is done. That is done. That is it. That is over. And you compromise, he would be compromising his chances with other women, that he would choose to be with, by showing enormous interest in you. Because even if they're less attractive than you, it's like, okay, now he set a benchmark. Okay, like he likes this particular woman. Therefore, since I am not that particular woman, I'm not as pretty as she is, or maybe by doing that, he established that he likes brunettes. Or if this was a black guy, and it might have been, then, and he's into black women, by getting her number, he lost his chances with the black women in there. So there's a lot going on in situations like that he has to take into account. It's not as cut and dry as you think. He has to behave as if everybody is watching, including the women of his dreams. He's eyeing somebody else. He's eyeing the redhead. He's eyeing that Asian girl. He's eyeing that Latin chick. And you come and you're doable, but do he really want to risk his opportunity with her for her? It's not that he's not interested in you. It's just that he's more interested in someone else in the club, and that is likely the case. And it is possible that, it's somebody in your friend group, like I said. So he has to take that into account. Yeah, there is a lot at play. You're just scratching the surface. So now let's just say he was interested in one of your friends. You walk up to him and say, "Hey, you're cute, or you're handsome, or you're sexy," or something like that, and he's like, "Oh, okay, thanks," And then, he could walk up later and, and he just be like, "Yeah, that was really nice of your friend to just give me the confidence I needed to come up and talk to you." Now, typically it doesn't work that way, Like, she already put her scent on him. Like, no matter what he did, he is not eligible to her friends. She already marked her territory. And which means that you can't have any of her friends. I hate that women are like this, but they are, fellas. They are. That is the worst thing ever. Once you get marked by one chick in a group of friends, you do not have access to the other members of that group. You do not. I found that out in NASA. You do not.
Going, introduce yourself, take charge. If a guy can't do that, I'm like, I just kind of lose respect for him, and I'm like, I can't even go out on a date with you because I will be bored to tears. Because if you can't even step up to the plate after I've gone out of my way to introduce myself to you, and you can't do anything else from there, we don't have anywhere to go. We're done, bro. So, ladies, don't be too prideful. If you see something you like and the guy's just not gonna, he's shy, whatever the case may be, go up and make the introduction. But men, you got to step up to the plate. You got to be able to reciprocate, show her your strength, take charge of the conversation, initiate more conversation, and prolong it along. Offer her a drink, talk about doing something in the future, but keep it going. So, much love from Erica. And look at this beautiful water. Isn't it gorgeous today? I mean, absolutely stunning.
And it's hard to say. Here, I'm gonna show y'all a skit. Of course, I can't play it, but I'm gonna show y'all exactly what I'm talking about. There is a balance that guys have to maintain. That guys have to maintain for a myriad of reasons. But here, hold on. Hold on. Here. I'm trying to look for this one particular skit from the movie Boomerang. Okay, I hate people like this. I I'm gonna segue a bit because when I was looking up stuff, this happened. And stop doing stuff like that. They did this with John Goodman, James Earl Jones, and stuff like that. Stop saying people are dead when they're not dead. So y'all don't see it here, but the thumbnail for this said R.I.P. Wayne's brother, and it had a picture of Sean Wayne's. I'm like, nah, he's not dead. But they like, oh no, R.I.P. to the show. It's like, okay. Oh wait, it says no. It says to report the death of the Wayne's brother co-star. I know that he's not dead. Hold on. Yeah, the man's not dead. Why y'all do? I hate it when people do when people clickbait stuff like that because they think shit like that is cool. Can't stand it. All right, back to the topic at hand. Let me look for that scene from Boomerang. Okay, I can't find it. I can't find it. However, there was a scene from Boomerang when it was Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence, and David Allen Greer. They were sitting at the table, and the woman just came up out of nowhere, and she was like, "Hey, how you doing?" And he was like, "I'm fine." He was like, "You have a beautiful accent. Where are you from?" And she said, "I'm from Holland." And he was like, "Oh, that's lovely." You know, he did not. He was just being friendly and being polite. He made it clear that he is not shy. He is capable of talking to and holding a polite conversation with an attractive woman. However, he didn't shoot his shot. She came up to him out of nowhere. He's sitting at the table with two other guys. And, you know, she just chose him to just say hi to him randomly. So she definitely had interest. And he was happy enough to speak with her. I'm going to say, "Do you have a cold? You're late, man." "Yes, I'm developing a cold." And, you know, so he had courage enough to speak with her and even hold a conversation with her. But, you know, he just left it, you know, polite and friendly, just like a high and by. So, and that's how you handle a situation like that. I think that that's a perfectly decent way to handle it, you know, because to be honest, well, I'm not going to say that, you know, but in the following scene, this happened. And I want to talk about this scene here. For a number of reasons. So we're going to examine this. We're going to talk some game today. And this is dynamic. Like, why did he do what he did the way he did it? So he's seen an attractive woman in the form of Layla Rashad, who was in competition with Halle Berry for the most attractive woman on the universe, to me, in 1993. So he sees this couple with a dog, and he says, y'all should do this with Melody if y'all see her with her dog. He walks up to them and says, "I'll give you," I think it was like $50 or $100 for the leash. And this man here said, "Take it, fool. Turn away that good money." So he bought the leash from the couple there back in the day when there were black couples. And then he sees Layla Rashad right here. He gets in front of her. And says, you know, Kirby. Now, first of all, people talk about leading with your money. You know, he just spent the $50 for the possibility. Right then and there, he spent the $50 for the possibility just so he can run his game. Notice it wasn't direct. So he's yelling Kirby, and then he got her attention. So she walks over to him. Now, funny thing is he didn't approach directly. And there's a reason for that. And he understands that. And I'm not recommending that a person go to that extreme, but hell if Layla Rashad is not a beautiful woman. He understands that women, especially ones that look like her, are approached directly a lot by guys who are more handsome and likely more successful than he is, at least in this movie. So he's like, "Listen, women are," and this is true, women are largely more considered, more open to guys that they meet in favorable circumstances than the guy themselves. So say if a woman says, "I only date a guy with ... Now ... could be like a god face, ... could be like a it could be like a social status. It could be like a hood status, you know, like I only date thugs or something like that. But she will give a non-thug a chance if they met under favorable circumstances. So what he did was he changed the circumstances. So I'm not just some guy that approached you on the street. You approach me because we are dog lovers and you're curious about my Cocker Spaniel named Kirby. So he's there yelling Kirby, and she approaches him. He dressed like Kevin Samuels. There is a there to it. Rest in peace, Kevin Samuels was talking about. So yeah. So he's like, yes, I lost Kirby and blah 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 blah. And she's into him, or she's into the situation, and that's a key thing. She's into a situation, and if y'all don't believe me about this, look at fairy tales. Look at fairy tales and really just think about what the princesses were actually into. Let's start with The Little Mermaid, right? The Little Mermaid was she lived in the sea, and she even had the song, and I'm talking about the cartoon, not the one with Haley Bailey. And she just straight up said, like, I wish I could be a part of your world. Now, she wasn't really as interested in the prince as she was in being a part of the princely world. She was seduced by the world, the situation, more so than the prince. Same is true with what's her name? Beauty and the Beast. What's that girl's name? Anyway, same with Beauty and the Beast. She wasn't in love with the beast. She was literally in love with his stuff, with the surroundings, with the circumstances. If you look at like Aladdin and stuff, Aladdin was okay. So you had Princess Jasmine, she was just curbing, princes and sultans left and right. Every time a prince would come, she just sicked a tiger on him because, she wasn't having it. So, but Aladdin was different, not because he had a magic carpet, but because she met him on the street. She met him on the street when she was pretending to be a poor woman, and she got to know him under those circumstances. If she hadn't, then she would have curbed him just like she did all the other princes. So the only thing that stood out about Aladdin, besides the magic carpet, the only thing that stood out about Aladdin at that time was the circumstances that she met him was different. The circumstances that she first met him was different. And that's key. That is key. And that is something that's something that's put on display here. He understands that about women, so he controlled the circumstances under which he met him. Set himself aside from everybody else that sneaks up behind her while she's walking the dog and say, hey, So yeah, that's how that happened. So here he's telling her about the dog some more. She's worried about the dog. She wants to know if it's lost or not. She takes his number. No, he offers her his card, showing that he's a man of business. And he also said, I'll have somebody come pick it up. So this is a man who has authority over workers to where he can say, I'll have somebody who works for me pick it up. I don't have to pick it up myself. So, people say, oh, you shouldn't lead with your money. When you're successful, money is part of what you are. You are a person who has business cards. You are a person who, has couriers that can pick stuff up for you. It's part of you. It's not something that you could separate. He would have to deliberately pretend to be poor, as the same actor did on Coming to America. Card, Anthony Williams. He gave her his card, his business card. They had those back in the day. So he gave her his business card, and then, yeah. So then, he remained smooth at all times, and then she hold on, I'm trying to get to that part. So this is all in the course of a minute. So then she starts to walk away, and he yells Kirby louder. She becomes worried, and then she offers her number to him, at which time he receives his victory. He got what he wanted from her, at least at this point. So controlling the circumstances is key. Anytime a guy can do this, he should. He definitely should. But guys aren't typically going to go through those extremes. Many women, and it's odd, and shout out to Alpha Male Strategies. I don't make them this way. This is just the way they are. Women tend to get used to rejecting guys under certain circumstances. Eddie Murphy understood this. At least his character Marcus Graham understood this. So he's like, listen, the moment you say, let me have your number, there's a switch that goes off in a woman's brain. And no matter who you are put into the same category as every other man that has uttered those words to her. Now, and that's a wide range of men, ranging from niggas that look like Flavor Flav to niggas that look like Idris Elba. That's a wide range of men. She said no. By the time she's her age, late 20s, she has said no to 1,000 men who has uttered those words. Let me have your number. So you have been placed in a category that she has already rejected. She has already rejected that category. And that's another reason why I don't online date, because I understand that. I understand that aspect. It's like the same woman who would be interested in you had y'all met in better circumstances would simply swipe right on you because she swipes, or swipe left on you because she swipes left all day. That's what the fuck she does. So it's complicated. I am not a game dude. I know I'm sounding like one right now, and I hate that I'm doing that, but I'm not a game dude. I'm just a dude that lived life and seen movies. So I understand that. I understand what they were trying to portray here, even though I didn't understand it when I was a kid and I first seen this. So that's my take on that. But approach is it's a delicate thing. Now, I'm gonna talk about the last part of this, and this is the most important part. So I'll probably put it in a separate video if I can. I'll start that separate part now and state that to the people listening, the reason why I sound different is because I have a cold. But women, you're going to have to be more assertive. That doesn't mean that you're going to have to outright shoot your shot at dudes like you a D-boy on the street at 7-Eleven. It's not, or you're a construction worker or something like that. You can still be settled, but you have to put yourself slightly in his shoes. And then you have to do an assessment and understand why you are shooting your shot. And there are several circumstances where you have to shoot your shot, where, nothing less than a complete shoot shot, a completely shotted, a complete shoot, nothing less than a complete shoot would do. Hit the like button. These situations include situations like work. Work, nothing less than a complete and total shot being shot will do. Nothing less. No light flirting, no smiling, no, chronic emails, no making an excuse to be next to you, no being polite and say, do you want anything from the break room? Every time you go to the break room, it cannot be subtle. Guys will, guys, and I'll put myself in this category, we know that you're interested, but because it's so much on the line for us. We cannot we cannot partake. We can't. And you could literally, just hang your girls in front of our face, as you bend over and pick up a flash drive. We know what you're doing. We cannot shoot our shot. It's too much at stake. You're going to actually have to declare your interest, preferably through a text message, and do that. Now, I know some of you, and if you are a woman and you are saying this, it means that you're really detached from putting yourself in a man's situation. You can say to yourself that, okay, if I do that, then I'll make myself as vulnerable as he is. Men do not have a track record of doing that. Even if we are approached by somebody that we are not interested in and who we find downright creepy, we tolerate it. That's just how we're built. So there's far less risk involved. Excuse me. There's far less risk involved for us than it is for you. Far less. You have to be aware of that. So yes, in that particular situation, it is imperative that you shoot your shot. Friend of a friend scenario. Friend of a friend scenario. Definitely you want to. Okay. There is a situation like that where it's okay to be somewhat overt, but not necessarily make a complete shoot shot. But you have to give at least strong choosing signals in this regard, because what you're asking him to do outside of that is deal in something that is uncertain. He risked looking bad in front of his friend who has already established a relationship with your friend. Now, in an ideal situation, this wouldn't even come up because the two of them would say, hey, you should meet her and she should meet you. And y'all already are meeting under those intentions. But anything less, you probably want to make it unmistakable. And all you're doing, and understand this, ladies, all you're doing when you're giving choosing signals is you are limiting the risk. That's all you're doing. You're limiting his risk of rejection. And the times that you choose to do that should be in direct proportion to how much does he have to lose if he were to get rejected. If he meets you in a grocery store and you meet him in the grocery store, and you reject him, there's really no loss because he's never going to see you again anyway, unless y'all just so happen to be hungry for marshmallows at the same time and you're in the same aisle again. But chances are you're never going to see that person again. Therefore, it's really not much of a risk, and he should be shooting his shot then. However, under any other circumstances, like I say, friend of a friend of family members, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, he risked the humiliation of his circle of friends. So you have to absorb some of that risk. You have to meet him halfway. You just have to, if you are interested in that person. Another scenario, the one where Mos Def and Alicia Keys existed. And if you don't know, Alicia Keys was a waitress, and she was the waitress at the restaurant that Mos Def frequented. Now, this isn't a matter of risk. This is a matter of understanding that this is not a unique circumstance. You are not, just because you're pretty enough for him, it doesn't mean he should hit on you. And that's something that you have to understand about men, especially men who have a reasonable amount of options or who live in large metropolitan cities. A man can't hit on every pretty woman that he comes across if he lives in a large metropolitan city. Yes, you're pretty and you're a waitress. All waitresses are pretty. Well, I shouldn't say all, but waitresses are typically, paid by tips, and pretty girls get tipped a lot more than less not so pretty girls. So, and men are not going to hit on every single pretty waitress that he comes across. So it's not really, you have to set yourself above him. And the way you do that is by lowering the risk of rejection. So I'm not saying that you shoot your shot, but you will have to make it clear your interest. Now, also, you have to take into account, that you are a waitress. You are a waitress. What does that mean? It means that you have to behave in a way that's indistinguishable. Y'all know what the word I'm trying to say. I have a code. You have to behave in a way to where he cannot distinguish you being flirty versus you actually being a nice waitress. He don't want to make that mistake. Guys have made that mistake before. Like, they come across an over friendly waitress, and next thing you know, she shows you pictures of her kids and her husband. We've all been in that situation. So you have to set yourself above even those. And sometimes that will mean shooting your shot. In the Alicia Keys situation, she could say, I see you around here a lot and you order the same thing. You want to try something new? Break the ice that way, but you still fall under the waitress friendly category. You would then give him a chance to respond, but try to make a dialogue. And then one day you just say something like, and then this is where you can cross the line between waitress friendly and I want to see where this goes without risking full rejection. And full rejection is when you actually shoot your shot. Here's my number, and you don't call. You can say something to the effect of, she said this in a song, it would be nice if you see me outside of uniform, but you only see me at work. So it's an art to it. Unfortunately, women have not been encouraged to be artists, but times are changing. The scenarios that I just described did not happen often in adulthood because, quite frankly, people didn't really live in large congested cities. If there's one pretty waitress in town, you shot your shot, because when's the next time you're gonna do that? When's the next time you're gonna see somebody that pretty? That's not true necessarily in places like New York. You can't holler, or Miami. Oh God, Miami. Yeah, if I hollered at every pretty female I've seen in Miami, I would literally not be able to do live streams because I wouldn't have a voice. You can't. If you're interested, you got to do like a signal flare. I think that's the last scenario. Well, unless y'all have a scenario that I haven't covered where women would have to be more assertive. Like I say, you don't have to be more assertive in a situation like a grocery store or something like that, because he should be shooting a shot there. There's no risk, and he's not going to see you again. So it's like, it's a now or never scenario. But if y'all have any other suggestions, let me know. If not, I'm ready to go. So Miami by far is the place in America with the highest concentration of attractive women that I've ever seen. Ever. You're not a game dude, but your analysis is correct. Listen, this is one of the things. This is one of the reasons that I get into it with game dudes, because they're not really preaching much that a lay person don't really know. That's why I challenged Steve the Dean that one time and won. Because listen, you're not telling guys anything that most don't already know. And you're kind of talking down on these guys as if you're doing something spectacular. You're not. So, and then some guys are just young. So, it is what it is. But these guys, it gets annoying. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. And also, what I was just doing was women for the game, was game for the women, actually. Okay, so, oh, wait a minute. If he's very good looking, he's not approaching. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Listen, I'll see if I can find the clip. Okay, let me. Okay, listen to me good, fellas. Guys who say that, many guys who say that are really just trying to convince themselves that they're handsome. But, and they probably are. But any handsome guy will tell you that that's not true. Well, it's not true if you have a desire to get with women who are prettier than you are handsome. If you're trying to get with a woman who's prettier than you are handsome, then you're going to have to shoot your shot. Yes, a woman who is less pretty than you are handsome is going to shoot her shot at you, just like I described before in my own personal situation. But if you want a regular supply of women who are prettier than you are handsome, or are equal, then you're going to have to ... That's just is what it is. So this guy said, I got rejected by 100 baddies in Miami. Here's what I learned. Okay, so now I don't know if he's particularly handsome or a god-faced dude, but he presents himself like that on YouTube. So we're gonna go with that. We're gonna go with his assessment of his physical status. Her face is blurred out, but she's likely prettier than he is handsome. Let's see what happened.
Moscow.
Yes.
What are you doing in Miami?
Just trying to do some stuff.
Trying to do. Really?
I'm
You visiting?
No, I actually live here. I
Oh,
just
really?
live here, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You just moved here?
Kind of. Long story, but I lived in Fort Lauderdale. Now I'm back here again. but
Okay, why? How come the move?
break up
Break up.
for the best. For the
Damn.
better.
And this might be the stars aligning then.
Oh
Right?
yeah, for sure.
Really? So what do you do for fun?
I was doing insurance, but I'm kind of like more heading towards the real estate route. So I do that and then modeling, but not only just modeling.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Like
Cool.
commercial and stuff like that. Yeah.
Where you heading to now?
I was actually gonna go to the mall.
Okay.
Yeah.
You seem like a cool person.
Yeah.
We should hang out.
I have a boyfriend.
Okay. So y'all see, gym rats, god face dudes, or whatever, they do get shut down. Yeah. Now, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Well, she may or may not have a boyfriend. Yeah. Somebody said his game is so trash. It could be that. It could be nothing he said would have gotten her.
Okay. No worries. Thank you. First thing I learned about rejection is most women reject men that come up to them because he's not already pre-qualified. Now, why?
She wouldn't have talked to you if he wasn't pre-qualified.
Why is this so important? When I'm walking on the streets or when I'm, anywhere, I get a lot of choosing signals. Girls look at me, right? But they don't necessarily know who I am. A lot of women have had experiences with men being creepy, men being weird, and women, they like social proof. They want you to be socially proven. So
there's truth in that. And I hate to sound like a game dude, but there's definitely truth in that. And that goes a long way.
Pre-qualification, and the woman can kind of be a little bit standoffish. So you can't.
Oh, I see what he said. I see what he means when he say pre-qualification.
You talk to a girl and she tells you.
So when you say pre-qualification, she has to know you. Women like to do reconnaissance. They, like if you're in school with them, they like to ask their girlfriends everything there is to know about you. What's his reputation? What's his social standing amongst friends? Is he the captain of this, the leader of that? What's his GPA? By the time, women want to know everything there is to know about you before they it's not just looks. They want a full, defects report on you before they act. That's an ideal situation for women. I'm gonna end this here because we're not really talking about that. We're talking about cold approaching. Cold approaching is just that. I don't really know what he was getting at. Cold approaching and then talking about the value of being pre-qualified, but you don't always have control in that situation. So I think the people who are watching this particular video wants to know, like cold approach implies that you're not pre-qualified, So you don't have that icebreaker, like, hey, didn't you go to PS13? And she's like, yeah, I did. It's like, okay, what have you been doing since then? That is a thing. But, absent that, the conversation is going to come out dry. It's like, Fort Lauderdale to Miami,
Make yourself look weaker. Why would a man who already has options be leading with validation? Think about it, right? If you are and a super beautiful girl is just, well, you don't want to kick
I thought he
your
was going
own
to
self
shoot
in
a
the
shot
foot
at more
by
women.
going up to her and the first thing you do is validate. She knows when you go up to her that you find her attractive. That's why you're talking to her. You don't have to spit it out. The best way to approach, I have said it and I will say it again, and this video proves my motherfucking point. When you go up to women and you validate them, they look at you as being below them. They look at you as something.
Though what he says is true, I have found success in doing that. I have, because the truth of the matter is you're not telling them something that they don't already know, but they don't know that you feel that way about them. I mean, it's hit or miss. He shouldn't be speaking about it as a definite end all be all, you know. So I pulled a chick earlier this year, um, and I said, and this was like January 3rd or something like that. You know, I just straight up said this. I'm gonna say stuff just to throw it out there. I said, you're the most beautiful woman I've seen this year. And I was just saying that as a joke because the year was only like 3 days long. She actually didn't get the joke, and she took it like an enormous compliment. Like really? She was like, oh, thank you. That's so sweet. And then I moved the conversation. I didn't even have intention on moving the conversation, like or trying to get at her. I was just saying that to be funny, because it's January 3rd. Like, you know, it's you know, that's not hard to do on January 3rd. But you know, she didn't get that, and we talked for a bit. But so it's hit or miss in that regard. But yeah, it's hit or miss. I don't even know if it's good or bad, but do what works for you. I'm not a game dude. Do what the fuck works for you. GC, she interpreted it as she is the most beautiful woman you'll see all year. um, well, she's not. She's not. I actually got shot down hard but soft by the most beautiful woman I've seen this year. It was hard but soft. And I'll tell you that story, then I'll go. So, I was at like a gathering. I was at an event, right? And I did not, there was a lot of attractive women there. From a distance, I would have thought that she was average. But when I was standing face to face to her, I was like, oh, wow, she was like the hottest chick that I've seen this year, you know? This was like late June. And I was talking to her for a second, and she had a personality on her too. You know, she was real smart. She was real sweet and stuff like that. And she said she had a boyfriend early on, but I took that as just like a disclaimer thing that she says to every nigga that comes her way. But I talked to her for a bit, maybe like 2-3 minutes. And then, you know, I was like, all right, so come on, do you really have a boyfriend? Or is that something that you say to niggas that just, you know, that just step to you? You know, she was like, I really do. I was like, I don't believe you. And this is where the killing me softly, you know, I would call it that. The killing me softly rejection came in. She was like, you don't believe me? I was like, I do not believe you. I think that you think that I'm the ugliest nigga alive, and you don't want to give me your number for that reason. And she said, okay, hold on. She called the nigga and FaceTimed him right in front of me and said, see? And I was like, oh, shit. Okay. That is proof. That is proof. This chick did have a girlfriend. That was a killing me softly. That was a hottest girl I've seen this year. You know? And she literally was a model. And she showed me like the print stuff that she did on her phone. I was like, oh, shit. And I was better than that nigga. Oh, shit. So Hey, but what do? He got there first. Um, respect to the brother, respect to the chick for being faithful and all that stuff. Hey, killed me softly. It happens. Can't win them all. Hey, Alexis, long time no see. Our last rejection was hard and soft. Yeah, that's what that was. Oh, unfortunately, he wasn't one of these, chest beating niggas either. He know what the fuck he got. So it's like he wasn't one of these chest beat niggas like you talking to my girl nigga. He wasn't on that. He like, yeah, that's my girl, and I'll never be yours. He did the same thing I would do if I was in that situation. Niggas gonna start sleeping with sex dolls. It's over. DoorDash order and shit. What does DoorDash have to do with sex dolls? I seen one of those. I seen it didn't have a head or arms or legs. It just had a torso. Um, I seen it on Pornhub. When you watch porn, they have like the advertisements on the side. I gotta go, my voice. But I was like, wow, they really got like it was all wobbling and wiggling and stuff. I was like, wow, they, that's something. I mean, that's impressive. I thought that there was like mannequins or robots or blow up dolls before, but that looked like full silicone shit. Says, okay, I see you live for the first time. Thanks to Alexis for reposting it. Hey, thanks for coming through. Thanks for coming through. I was on this woman named Alexis panel the other day. I found myself really frustrated because, I was explaining certain things about submission and um, it's not their fault, but there's like a talking to women like that really shows how deep the resistance to basic submission is in Black female culture. So, you know, um, and then it got to the point where they were attacking me and for wanting such a thing, and it just got ridiculously out of hand. So, I was kicked off, and then what really pissed me off was some bitch called me boy. I don't appreciate stuff like that. Fellas, you gotta be careful because she was married. You gotta be careful of the chick you marry because you can catch hands off of something that your bitch said, and it's a lose-lose situation. Like you can't not, you know, you can't not do anything. It's not like, um yeah, you can't not do anything if a dude disrespect your girl, even though she was being disrespectful at first, so you're in a lose-lose situation. So be careful. Make sure you stay away from these chicks that just go around insulting dudes, um, and willy-nilly, because the consequences will be yours, not hers. Yeah, it's all good. We agree to disagree. At the end of the day, what's done is done. I'm good. I mean, I don't like to be called boy, but I'm good. So anyway, I'm gonna close down. Y'all catch the replay. So thank everybody that participated. Thank all of my channel members. Hit that like button on your way out. And this is Game Changer 00100. Game over. Peace.